So on an old diesel Land Rover, this is the handle that stops the engine when you turn the car off. It's not a solenoid setup like a modern one. You simply pull the handle and that stops the car. However, this is the third that I've fitted to this car, and the same thing keeps happening. They're cheap, made by Britpart and bearmach. I've had two, and this happened twice now. They're just badly moulded rubber around the metal end, and it's not enough for the force that you need to pull, at least on mine. So I'm a little bit sick of that. I've picked up a tractor handle off eBay for a few £. I'm going to grind down the end of this, use a die and tap that to M10, which will fit this. Hopefully that ball pull will be a good fix, and I'm not going to have the same problem again, and I'm not going to waste money on Britpart like before. Okay, so to get at the stop handle I need to take the steering lock off, which means taking part of the dash apart. So I'm going to start by just removing the plastic cowling around the steering wheel first. The bolts underneath holding the steering lock on are usually shear bolts. I left those just as normal for now, because I had a feeling there was a few more jobs where this was going to have to come off. Basically they would need drilling out, so as I sort of complete the project I'm going to fit the proper shear bolts back in. But yeah, we need to just remove those, take the steering lock apart. So the reason for undoing the steering lock is just to get a little bit more access to this tiny screw here. So if I can loosen that and move it, that means I can just pull out the handle a little bit easier. So this is where the cable goes inside the engine bay, down below the fuel pump, attached here. So when you pull the cable, it pulls this lever, which stops the engine. So I'm just going to remove this end of the cable as well. I should be able to pull that through simply enough. Okay, so I've removed the little screw here and I've undone the cable at the fuel pump. Now the only thing holding it in is the key, so I should be able to just turn the key and pull through like that. Okay, so that's the stop handle removed. I'm going to take that away, I'm going to have a go at grinding down and add in the thread. So the shaft here is just under 10mm there. To put a thread on it needs to be 9.85, so I think I should just get away with grinding off the knurling on the end, probably taking the top part off to release the rubber, and cutting the thread on and seeing how we do. Hopefully with a bit of Loctite that ball should just stay on the end. Okay, so I'm just going to take the edge off here with the grinding wheel very carefully. I've taped the cable out of the way just for safety. Okay, so I've taken the knurling out. I'm actually going to take the whole top off here and cut the thread onto this bit rather than trying to cut through both. It's not going to work well. So I'm just going to take that off with a grinder. Okay, so I've cut the end off there. I'm just going to grain that flat and see how the tap fits, or how the die fits. Okay, so I've used the die, gone down carefully with a little bit of cutting oil. If I wind that off, the thread should be cut okay. Okay, so that fits well. Should be no problem fitting that. I'm going to see if I can get the cable back through without dismantling it anymore and refit. So out of the vise there, that looks good to me. Hopefully that is going to fit in without clashing with the dash. I'm going to go and find out now. Okay, so luckily I've been able to thread that back through without dismantling anymore. Fingers crossed it comes out the other side. I think it has done. So if that hadn't happened, I would have had to take the whole steering lock apart a little bit more just to get the clearance. So I'm going to have a go at just fastening this back in and checking the cable in the engine bay is fine. Yeah, and you can see the cables come out the other end. So I've got the key turned. I'm just going to push the handle all the way in and then go into the engine bay and tighten the cable up. So pushing the handle all the way in has put the cable to its full length in here, so when I nip that up it'll be at the right position when the handle's pulled. Okay, so the dash is all back together and the balls fit on the end. It's nice and tight. I've not Loctited or anything at the moment, just till I get used to it and make sure everything's okay. At this position there's loads of clearance behind. When I start the engine this is going to spring in. The clearance at the moment is not amazing, you'll see in a sec. But you can still just get behind it and there's enough to hold on to pull the stop arm for now. So I'm going to look into a few options, like maybe fitting a lock nut behind, or maybe seeing if there's something different that I could screw onto the end that would provide a better grip. But generally I'm quite happy with that, and it's solved that problem for me. No more replacing the same part again and again.